John Squad. Welcome to a new video. Yes, I'm posting a little more recently, and today is the start of a new series that I'm actually going to commit to, unlike my other series. This is Devil's Advocate, Part 1. Uh, so this is going to be a series where I go around the internet and finding clips I feel like I can defend or like clips I disagree and see if I can convince you uh to my side. But disclaimer. This is just something that I think, or this is just my thoughts on something, or or if it's like, or sometimes it could be like satire too. Like I'll either find clips I think I can defend that I feel like will make a good video, or clips that I think like that I don't like I disagree on something, and then kind of like that. But some stuff do believe in, uh, and some stuff it's like a joke. I'll try to tell y'all when it's just for a joke or when I actually believe the things that I'm saying. I'll try to make that clear. For the first episode, we're gonna do a sincere one, where I kind of disagree on something, but also kind of agree on. That's kind of basically this whole thing. Stuff I kind of disagree with, and I feel like there's room to make an argument for the other side. But as you probably saw on like my Minecraft video, that I'm no longer doing politics, so none of the videos are gonna be political. They're gonna be like this one from from this Smosh video. I mostly agree on what they say. I mostly agree on the stuff they say, but sometimes I do have kind of different points of views on a couple of stuff. So I'm just gonna play like a little bit of this video, like the part I think I disagree on, and I will be posting a link to their video on my description. Uh, but like yeah, that's basically what I'm gonna be doing, and I'm gonna be pausing and stuff and commentating on creating an argument. So yeah, it's gonna be this whole thing. Uh so let's get started. So I'm just gonna play the video for I'm gonna play like a clip of the video, and then uh yeah. Or you can also go watch the full video and then form your own opinion. And I kind of encourage you to do that. They're a bigger channel than me, so who am I to tell my 11 viewers to go watch the bigger channel they're probably already watching? But, still, I just wanna commentate on this. So this is around 44 minutes into the video. It's an hour-long video. We're only gonna do this part because this is the part I watched, and I was like, I think I can. I'm like, I'm not sure I form a different opinion on this, but that the part is called "I told my husband he's too broke to be sexist," which is this section of the video. If
Ooh, fun.
Classic. Am I the asshole for telling my husband he's too broke to be so sexist? Okay, let's hear him out. Throwaway account. So, my husband comes from a traditional family. Mom's a stay at home mom, father was a sole provider. I come from the opposite. My mother pretty much forbade me from ever being financially dependent on a man and drilled that into me early on. My husband worked hard to unlearn the values he saw replicated at home. He often more than pulled his weight at home, was an engaged and present father, and a genuine partner. The one thing that grinds my gears is how much weight he puts on the opinions of his family. I get that we all want our parents to be proud of us, but this is too much.
All right, here's the first thing. Like, okay, there's the first thing that okay, actually no, wait, let me shut up. I'll argue a little later. Uh, but first of all, most people are like manipulated by their parents. It's not that they want their parents' respect, and you're like, oh, but they want it a little too much. I think that's just them being manipulated. I don't think they're seeking validation from their parents from someone. So I'm gonna get into that later. Just remember this. Also remember the part when they said that he was like that he was trying to separate from his parents' ideals. Remember that. Right? I just want you to keep that in mind.
My in laws are staying with us for 2 weeks. Our usual MO is I prep breakfast, we all eat lunch at work/school, and my husband makes dinner. We have a cleaner, but she's on holiday, so in the meantime, we're do it yourselfing the cleaning, where it's down to everyone to keep their space clean and common spaces we all clean. This is how we've always done it, and it works. My in laws hate that I'm one of those modern women. They hate that I work.
As you can hear, the mom is very manipulative. Very much kind of a bitch. The mom is not very good, not a very good person. From like, oh, you're one of them modern women. I am from the 50s. So yeah, keep that in mind. Manipulative mom and brainwashed son, and son trying to change. All right, keep those in mind.
Work. They hate that I don't find my purpose in being a wife and mother, and they hate that my husband pulls his weight at home.
Oh,
We spoke pretty frankly early on, where I established my boundaries and told them I won't be chastised about how I live my life in my home. When I am a guest in their home, I accommodate their ways and play the daughter in law they wish I was. They have, for the most part, respected this. I got home yesterday after work, tired and starving. I typically get home 6:15, 6:30, and we eat at 7 p.m. I said quick hellos and ran up for a pre-dinner shower. When I came down, I went to the kitchen to help set up for dinner and found nothing ready. I asked my husband about it, but he wouldn't look at me, and his mother answered that he hadn't cooked anything. She told me I needed to do my duty as a wife and cook for my family. My coward of a husband.
Right there. I feel like this is the point where the mom took full control of the husband, of like the woman's husband. Like the mom got like full control. She managed to fully brainwash her son into her ideals. This is a key moment. Another key moment.
Still wasn't looking at me. I just walked away and ordered takeaway. I dished up for me and my kids, and we sat at the table to eat. My husband and his parents served themselves and joined us. My mother in law was still going on about what was wrong with me and why I was a failure. I asked my husband if he had anything to say. He said his mother had a point, and it wouldn't hurt if I acted more like a proper woman and took better care of my home and children. He said tradition was tradition for a reason, and it was kind of insulting that I thought I was too good for how he was raised. This is where I might be an asshole. I told him tradition won't allow a man on $35,000 to support a family of five, and he was too broke to be so sexist. He looked hurt, and I saw tears welling in his eyes. He excused himself from the table. I regret saying this in front of our children, but him saying that to me after I'm busting my ass to clean up his mess, on top of having to deal with his parents, was too much for me. Am I the asshole?
nope.
Nope.
You are not the asshole.
You're asking.
Your husband fucking. Ugh.
Especially, yeah, in front of your kids saying, "Yeah, I wish you were more of a proper woman." Like that's
It's so
just
gross. It
crazy.
teaches them something that they've discussed as a couple that they don't want to teach.
I'm already pissed at him for tolerating his mom's behavior in front of to his wife and in front of his kid.
Yeah.
Like that already sucks that he's still like a child.
Did the mom say, don't cook?
I guess
wait
so.
till she gets
What was,
home.
yeah. What was he doing? Just sitting there?
He was like, well, she's going to be so mad. It's like, dude, buck the up.
I am back now. So, here's where I started to disagree. Yes, the husband was a fucking dick, an asshole. but like I don't agree on like, oh, the husband should buck up. He should be a man. Should be a real man and stick up to his parents. You know, I don't really agree on that. But like, okay, so here's what I disagree on here. Yes, the husband was a dick, but I don't like he was an asshole. He was being a true fucking dickhole. Uh, huh. But like the wife, I feel like it could have been handled a little better. And I'm gonna explain that. I feel like the wife was also kind of being a dick, but I get it. You're reacting based off the moment. You're not really thinking. You're tired from work. I think they say this later on in the video. Um, they're like, okay, yeah, you're tired from work. You're not really, you're really tired. The parents are just a constant pain in your ass. All right, and you're just like, man, fuck. And then like your husband does this, does this, and you're like, you feel betrayed, and you're like, man, fuck this shit. I'm tired, bro. And then you just go, and then you just go off. And I feel like this could have been handled a little bit better. Okay, so here's the thing. I feel like it's like more about the husband being so manipulated by his parents, especially his mother. He's probably a mama's boy, like most of us are. Most men are mama's boy. I think a few men have like really like like if you're attached to your father, you're gonna be more inclined to listen to your father, but if you're inclined to your mother, if you might feel more inclined. But it sounds like he's a mama's boy. All right, he's a true down to earth mama's boy, which I can relate to. I am and also a mama's boy. Uh, huh. But she has raised me to to think like the wife here, like, hey, don't don't be rude to women. You gotta carry your weight. You gotta learn how to cook and clean for yourself too. And because that's what my mother was also raised on. I'm like, all right, like my mom was also raised like, hey, don't take shit from no man. All right, be a true gaslighty girl boss queen with a K. And I understand that sentiment. I love that because my mother was raised off of it and I was raised off of it. So I do agree that people are like, you gotta be more traditional. You gotta be red pilled. You just gotta, you gotta, he's gotta be, she's gotta be like a real woman. Like, okay, man, shut the fuck up, boomer fucking ass. But I also think the wife could have also handled this a little bit better. I understand how you're tired. You kind of just don't want to deal with this bullshit right now. Then your husband kind of betrays you. But I think this is more like the thing of be a man, bug up, fuck your parents. But like in this point, I don't think that really applies. Because the husband, got manipulated the fuck out of his mother, like full on CIA, fucking waterboarding torture for him to listen to their ideals. And like I told you to remember, at the beginning, it says, like, hey, he was actually making an attempt to free himself from these old ideals to be a better husband. He was like, it said that he cooked dinner and that he helped, like he lifted his weight around the house. You know, remember that he was trying to break free from what his uh parents like taught him. He was like trying so hard. He if like it truly seemed that like he could have broke through if something happened differently here. I feel like there could have been a different timeline where like the wife like helped him out a little more. But you might be thinking, oh, it's not the wife's problem to deal with this shit, to deal with his shit, to deal with him being manipulated. But like, I don't know, man. Really, just really think about it. Just really think about it. It's like someone being caught in a spider's web. You know, most people are expected like, oh, be a true man, or be a true woman, or whatever, and you gotta break free from that shit yourself. It's basically you're telling a depressed person, like, dude, you're really depressed. How about you go fucking fix that shit yourself? Break through yourself. Like, fuck you for not breaking through yourself. Like, they're of course they're not gonna break through themselves. Like, goddamn. Like, they're not. They can't really do that shit. They're again CSA, CSI, CSA, fucking FBI, water torture, type level parenting of brainwashing. You know, just fucking. He's being injected with fucking LSD, and fucking brainwashed into listening to his parents. But like, I think he's like a little. He's not too far gone, but like, you know, but he's not he's like trying to recover, but he can't. He's still caught in that cobweb. And just think about it: if you're caught in a cobweb, you can struggle and try to break free, but the spider will always come back to fucking suck your fucking blood and leave you weak and not able to break free. You know, so as the partner in this situation, whether you be a man, a woman, a fucking a gay person, or whatever your fucking gender is, as the partner, you gotta be the one with the sword or with the scissors to help them break free. And instead of going in like one full swoop, going on fucking swinging around, because all you're doing in that situation is you're attracting the spider more to keep making them weaker, to keep making the husband believe in these type of things. You know, that's all you're doing. It has to be like a slow cut. You gotta carefully use the scissors, the fucking sword, to cut your partner free. From all this shit. You gotta slowly do it. And I feel like there was like a true situation where she could have like been like, when the husband said that, he was like being fully fully sucked in to this situation, fully being wrapped around. The mother had him in his grasp. She was finally, tugging at the right strings now, fully being able to manipulate the husband to like be mad at it, to like to fully weaponize the husband against his own wife. I feel like the mother was like she was just right about when the husband said like, yeah, maybe you should be a true woman. She was like just about uh almost like completely brainwashing the son in that situation, where I feel like if the wife you know truly stepped in, and instead of blaming the husband for getting manipulated, like, what a little fucking coward bitch, you know like, if that were me, I wouldn't have gotten manipulated, type shit. But instead of being like that, like calling him a coward on this shit, like, of course he's a coward. That's his fucking mother. Like, look, that type of person seeks a validation from their parents, because again, fully brainwashed, and they're gonna seek validation from other people too once they try to break free from that thing. Um, which can be okay. This might sound a little, it might sound bad, but which you can kind of use to your advantage to kind of unbrainwash them. All right, you can kind of use that to your advantage, because once they break free from their parents, and if they're like truly trying, like it said in in the start of the reading, like he was, it said that he was trying to break free. He was actually making a good attempt. He was actually working hard, you know, to try to break free, and so like it's like really hard for a person to truly break free, because they're okay, because in this situation they're just a child again. They're just a baby boy. They don't they're gonna, of course they're gonna go with their fucking mommy, their mom. They're gonna side with their mother, Cause that's they're like, okay, she's my caregiver and all that. I feel like I should agree with her. And it's like, oh well, she's gonna get mad at me if I step out of line. Which as a wife, you gotta be like, hey, listen to me. You gotta you gotta truly break them free. Like I feel like okay, what could have been done here? I don't know their full life. This is just a thing. There could have been more going on that I just don't understand and that they don't understand or whatever. I feel like what I feel like the right thing to do in this situation is to instead of being like, oh, the man should have bucked up and like he should have been a real man and bucked up, like, no, no, no. I feel like the wife should have been the one who bucked up, because her husband is too weak. He's too much of a pussy. But no, but he just can't do it himself because again, he got like super manipulated as a child to believe this stuff. And but if you truly see this as a wife that that he's being brainwashed and manipulated right here, then you should be like, I see, I understand it now, and like you should have been like, like instead of crashing out, I understand you're tired and shit, but instead of crashing out right then and there, I feel like you should have been the one who like stepped up. You should have been like, hey, like push the husband aside. Fucking grab him by the shoulder, like look at him. You fucking movie scene to grab him by the shoulder, and be like the anime protagonist, give him like the smile, the fucking Rizzy smile, like I got you, BBG type, and then be like, go to the mother like, hey, I know that you're the one who orchestrated this, and really give a stern talking to the mother. Show the husband that you're stronger than his bitch of a mother. All right. Show the husband that you're the one in control here. You know, you gotta have him by the balls at this point. You know. Okay, but I feel like this could have. I'm not. I know I'm not. I'm not. I know I'm not the girl in this situation. I know I haven't lived her life and shit. But like like, oh, this is what I would have done. But that's but based on my information, this is all I can truly give. And like, if we're talking about this specific situation, this moment right here, instead of crashing out, you could have like stepped up and be like, "Hey, I know what you're doing to my husband, to the mother, not the husband. Don't blame the husband for this. Blame the fucking mother. It's her fault. The entirety of her fault, because she's the one who like, oh, like, but how could he? How could he have let the mom manipulate him? Like, I don't know, dumbass. Maybe because that's the whole point of manipulation. That you don't know that you're being manipulated until it's too fucking late. She steps up to the mother and be like, "Hey, I know what you're doing. I know what game you're playing." And be like, "Hey, you know, move the husband aside and be like, hey, don't listen to your mother right now." And if he's like, no, but like, blah, 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 and tries to argue with you, you literally just shut and make him, you be like, I love you, you're my husband, but like, yeah, I need you to be quiet right now. I need you to shut up, but don't yell at him. Like, you gotta go stern, but yet, like, a stern, but yet soft voice, and you be like, I love you, I respect you, but you gotta respect me right now. I need to talk to your mother, all right? And then, go over to the mother like, hey, I know what you're doing. I need you to stop, you know? And since they're only there for like a week, and you tell them, I need you to get out of the house, get out of my house, uh, because I'm not gonna take this bullshit from you. I'm not gonna take you manipulating my husband, you know? Or like, I'm not gonna take you I'm not letting you do this to my husband right now. Like, fuck you. I'm not letting you do this to him right now. And you're like, hey. Get the fuck out of my house. If you don't, I'll call the fucking cops. Fuck off. Fuck you. You're not doing this right now. You're not ruining my marriage just because you don't agree on my ideals. I've tried to respect you as much as I could, but I'm no longer taking this. Get out of my house. And the husband tries to fight you on it. It's like, well, like, no, no, no. And then like, and then again, you just shut him up. You're like, hey, no, bad, bad boy. But if I feel like at this point it's already too late. We'll probably side with the parents and go live with the parents, which then you're like, damn. Or then you kind of have to accept it that you were too late. You couldn't save him. But if you manage to truly reach to him, uh, this is gonna be like a fucking alternate history video. Like, this is what could have happened using facts and data. We were like, okay, where if okay, she says that she, instead of talking like insulting the husband, she insults the mother and stuff. And she truly like fucking defends, goes full on Superman mode, and be like, hey, no, I'm not letting you do that. And then if the husband, and then if the husband is like, "Ooh, think like," then because if he's truly, because what it sounds like he's truly trying, then he won't fight you on it. He'll just let you do you. But if he's way too brainwashed, if he's way too manipulated, you just gotta be like, "Damn, you were strong." Whatever. And then that happens where break up, the divorce and stuff. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tough, but you can get through this. All right. Everyone can get through this, I believe. But like, but if we're saying like not just this situation, like more far back, I feel like if you notice that that's happening, if it's like a recurring thing, I feel like this might sound manipulative, but I feel like the best thing to do is is kind of do the opposite, because what the parents are using are fear tactics, which don't usually fucking work. Make him feel him like less of a man and stuff. But no, what you do, hear me out. You show him more love than his mother ever did to him. And you be like, and you make him every time he does something like a chore or stuff, like he cooks, and you're like, oh, you're such a man. You're such a big strong man. You're so good. You got this. You know, I love you for this. Blah blah blah. And you basically every time you kind of okay, you this may sound bad, but you kind of treated like a dog that was in like one of them dog fighting rings, and you kind of train them. It sounds wrong, but like, hey, people say that men are like dogs, so you gotta treat them like, so you gotta treat them like them. You gotta buy them the leash. You gotta buy them a leash. You know, I mean, and and so you kind of do treat him like a dog, and like if he does desirable behavior that you encourage that, you be like, oh, you're such a big strong man cooking. You look so manly. You look so hot cleaning and cooking. Really encourage him. You know, kind of like slowly undo what the mother did, whereas the mother used fear tactics for a son, you use a love tactics. You do the opposite. Of course, it's gonna be a slow process. This is like way before the argument even happens, type shit. I'm saying type shit a lot, but this is like way, way, way before the argument ever happens. All right, um, because like I already said, we can do like during the argument, but this is like before the argument even happens. Because if you notice this, you gotta do something yourself. If you notice that they're way too manipulated, way too brainwashed to do something themselves, I'm sorry. But you as a partner have to be the one who steps up, the one who bucks up, you know? And of course, they also have to pull their weight, but it sounds like he was actually pulling his weight here from like what they've read right here. It sounds like he was actually trying to pull his weight. And so, and so, you do this over time, and then which leads him to make him feel more empowered, make him feel like yeah, actually I am more manly doing chores. I am more manly cooking. I am a lot better doing this. It kind of helps him realize that makes him like slowly realize that his mother was like a kind of a fucking whore bitch, fucking using scare tactics on him to like make him believe on what she believes on like you'll never be a man, fuck you type shit. So I gotta stop saying type shit. I'm getting brain rotted, guys. But like like fuck you, you'll never be a man. Like what the mom does. You gotta do the opposite. You gotta be like, nah, no. This makes you moral, man. You're more handsome. You're such a manly man. You're such a good manly man. Like actually treat him like a dog without him noticing. And then you just gotta like actually yeah, I am more of a man cooking and cleaning. You know what? Fuck my mom. He'll slowly come to the realization, especially if you like encourage him to go get therapy, and be like, go get therapy, uh, for his issues, which will make him more slowly realize that he was being manipulated by his mother the whole time, you know, and it's a slow process. Of course, the mom is still gonna come in and try to do her stuff, but if if you kind of follow the steps correctly, he's gonna realize like, hey, my mom is in the wrong here. She's being a bitch. I can't let she's trying to separate me from my lover, my wife, and my kids, and which will probably prevent the argument from even ever happening, or it may not, but it would actually help you a lot more in the argument if it does end up happening. Uh, where okay, in this alternate timeline where they did this, this is like basically fiction at this point. Uh, in this alternate timeline where she did that and encouraged him, she could have either like it could have a just completely avoided the argument, like not letting the parents, like not letting the parents influence his life anymore from there on. Uh, or like if they do still come and stuff, it won't be like a fucking jump scare. There's clothes hanging off my sink because I like they haven't been hanged up to dry yet, and it scared me. It looked like a person. But anyways, what was I saying? Uh oh yeah, okay. So I feel like it could either A could have either or like prevented the argument from ever happening, or like B could have made it easier for you to win the argument and stuff here. And it could have gone something more like this. She's tired from work, all right? She comes back. The husband hasn't made food yet. She's like, what the fuck? And like mom with the son, the son's, kind of there, you know, doesn't really talk back to his mom because he's kind of scared of her and stuff. Because again, mom uses fear tactics. Fear, as you know, multiple times in history, fear tactics never work. Uh, but she kind of mentioning like, okay, you make the food, the same stuff happens, but in this timeline, you unlock a new dialogue option. You go, I know it's not this easy. I'm making this sound way easier than it actually is. Manipulation is like a very hard thing to break free, but I'm just saying, what I'm saying may work. I'm not saying it'll 100% work, but as a guy myself, I think I know. I think I understand what could what could help. As a guy myself, I think I know what might help. I'm not sure. I'm not the guy from the story. Not this guy, the other guy from the story. I'm not that guy. I don't understand him. I don't know who he is or what he is as a person. But there's like a whole thing like it really does depend on the person. But from what I'm hearing, that what happened in the story, I feel like this could have actually helped him. And this could have actually helped in the situation. Again, you unlock a new dialogue option. where you can be like, you know, again, like when the husband says that, you kind of feel like of course you're gonna take damage. It's like if you take a leap in Minecraft, if you take a leap of faith in Minecraft, uh, or like you like jump from like too high of a block, of course you're gonna take damage, bro. You're still gonna get you're gonna get a little chip of damage, but you're gonna make sure it doesn't do too much, right? You just gotta be like bang, like ooh, that hurts, but you gotta push through. You gotta be like, hey, on new dialogue option unlocked. You you go up to the husband, you know, you're like, hey, like remember oh, remember I said, you remember blah, blah, blah. Tell them all like, oh, like, oh no, actually, you remember and then blah blah blah. You kind of tell them in like secret. You kind of whisper to them, like, oh no, 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 no. And then you push them aside, and then you go up to the mother to face her off, the final boss, and you go like, yes. You point directly at her. You like use all your exhaustion, all your fucking pent up rage you have with the parent, and you just use it to make yourself appear like Batman levels of fucking fear to them. You go up to her, point directly at her, and say in the most serious tone you can manage without laughing, and you go directly up to her and you say, "You may be his mother, but I'm but I'm his mommy." And then you go up to her, you tell her that, and you're like, "Get the fuck out of my house. I ain't letting you hurt my husband any longer. He's not gonna take your abuse anymore." Sometimes some people can't take care of themselves. I think I also suffer from this problem where I'm too much of a mama's boy and I can't speak up to her. Which is pretty bad. But you gotta learn how to be like, okay, but if you're like too much of an introvert like I am, and you can't speak up to anybody because you're like, okay, I don't want to cause any more problems. I'm just gonna agree with my mother so I don't get in trouble with her. But instead, in this situation, the husband will most likely side with you because you're the one who showed him the most love. If he still goes with the mother, then he was a lost cause. But like if he goes with you, then that's when you truly know it worked. You broke him free from the matrix. It worked. And then if he agrees with you, it's like you're like, you know what? Yeah, mom, you have been abusing my whole life. Get the fuck out of my house. And you can both kick her out the house, and boom. And then you can like talk it out together. And to like fully try to break him free from his manipulation. Sure, some of like the mother's influence might still be there, touching his brain sometimes, but you always got to reassure him like, hey, I'm here for you, I got you. Always remember that. you know I feel like that could have been done better because what it sounds right here, the man was too much of a baby boy. He was just a baby boy. He was just a little guy. He couldn't defend himself, and so you gotta stick up for him there. It's like a kid being bullied. You just don't leave him there. Let him keep on getting manipulated. Now you stick up for that son of a bitch. You go up, and you go stick up for that person. So I feel like they were kind of the asshole, but like I did go on a full tangent. But like okay, but like the original thing, like I feel like this could have gone better. She could have handled it a little bit better herself. And I don't kind of agree on this whole thing. Like, actually, yeah, no, he deserved it. He was a bitch. Like he was being a bitch. All right, I do agree. But I feel like it was mostly because of the mom. I feel like the mom was being the manipulative one. And I think they do say like a little further down. And of course, okay. Why why does why does this do this? It's so fucking slow. Oh my god.
Or
What the fuck? I'm gonna. Oh, is that a fucking ad? You know, fuck this shit. I'm not getting no fucking ad. Fuck this.
because he tried to do this to her.
Yeah.
The mom is feeding his deepest, darkest insecurities,
Yeah.
and she's validating those insecurities for him, and is like, you got to tell her because
Exactly. Okay, look. Okay, there. Boom. Okay, that. Yeah, they do mention it further down. Okay. Yeah, I'm right. Okay. They do mention further down on the thing, and I kind of do agree with that. It's mostly the mother. I don't blame the husband much for this. I feel like he was a victim to the mother's manipulation, and he was too weak to break free himself. And the partner was did not kind of understand that he was being manipulated by the mother. Well, she kind of did, but she also like kind of didn't think she was strong enough to deal with it. Or I don't know what happened, but she kind of went on after the wrong person here. But he was for me. I feel like he was more of like a victim of the mother's manipulation, and I feel like this could have been handled better. You know, I do say that she was kind of part. She was kind of yeah. She was kind of an asshole too for saying that, but that the husband was also kind of falling into the mother's manipulation and kind of also being a dick. So I'm not saying like she's fully not the asshole, but I'm not saying that she is fully the asshole. I'm just saying it could have been handled a lot better from like both sides, or like yeah. I'm not saying that it's your response. I'm kind of am, but I'm not saying that it's fully your responsibility. I'm just saying, but what it sounds like here but again, what it sounds like here is that this is not the case, and the husband was actually trying his best to change from what his mother has made him become. But again, this is just my opinion. Uh, Feel free to state your own opinion in the comments, but I know you guys don't like to comment, so but like yeah, again, I'm gonna see if I remember to put the link in the description. If I don't, uh, just you probably they're like a big YouTube channel, so I don't think it'll take much. Like they're like they're fucking huge. Look at that, like a big old number. Hopefully someday my channel can get to that. But like yeah, there's the video. Uh, has been on screen this whole time, and the part I'm talking about is this one. I agree with them on most of what they say in this video, and it was just this part that kind of like, kind of like made me like think and like, was it really his fault? Was it really the husband's fault? Like completely the husband's fault here? But that's just my opinion. Again, you form your own opinion, and look at both their video and then come back to mine, and then form your own opinion based on that. I feel like that's what mostly missing from right now is that people are like just taking other people's opinion at face value, not forming their own opinion by looking at both sides and then just deciding for yourself what you think. If you agree with them more, okay, cool. But if you agree with me, cool. Agree with me more, then okay, cool. But like, yeah, that's what I think. And I think this will be it for this video of John Squad. This is your host, Jono, signing out. Uh, uh, Make sure to like and subscribe. Alright, this video's been going on for way too long. Bye.